This is episode 86 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dio Morales, and this is definitely the first time we've done this for this episode. And I'm joined by Marcel, no, Manzano.
That's the only thing I can think of with like 3 seconds to go.
And William, there's a meta outside of quad jumpers? Hakewood.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Now I know why I said no.
So today, the plan is we're going to be breaking down the Mining Guild tie preview, the full preview. We're going to talk about everything, even some of the stuff that's been spoiled already. We're gonna talk about that package, everything you're getting in there, and also we're going to do a section that I'm going to call a new challenger approaches, just breaking down some of the less common squads that we're seeing make cuts at some major events that have happened over the last few weeks. League night streams are every Wednesday. Some upcoming streams. They go from about 5 p.m. Central to 11:30 Central. So join us there. Lots of cool stuff. And if you can't join us live, don't worry. Those videos do go up on YouTube. And of course, this weekend, if you haven't heard, Gold Squadron podcast will be live from PAX Unplugged, the first system open here in the United States. We are going to be on mobile internet. That's the only thing available at the venue. So we're definitely gonna be recording everything, but we'll see how reliable the connection is. But that's the plan. We got the mobile hotspot ready to go, so we'll do the best we can there. New patrons, gonna give you guys some shout outs here. Thank you to Jared Everhart, Matthew David Lees, Thomas Heim, Bruce Enos, Todd Hewitt, Arik Haggy, and Montgomery Shaw. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I would hug you now, but I'm going to get you sick, so I'm not going to. Okay. So you know what? If you watched the last quick tip video, I think I got sick from hugging all the people. I think that's what happened. That's what I think. Anyway, watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about. Templates. If you pre-order templates, I have shipped. Okay. I got them. I got here on Sunday from Ohio. And as of today, I have shipped all 95 pre-orders. So all of you, it is in the mail. USPS is sorting them and getting them to y'all. And locals, any of you guys who ordered them, you'll be receiving them next week because the second shipment of them will be getting to me next week. And before I forget, I would suggest, if you haven't heard, we do have Gold Squadron podcast swag for sale for pre-order on our website, and there may or may not be a really awesome promotion happening this weekend, so make sure you watch live and check all of our things. Take a look at that. Yep, let's get into it. So we're going to be covering one more time. So we're going to be talking about the Mining Guild TIE Fighter expansion that's coming up here in the Wave 2 release that's supposed to be happening sometime in the fourth quarter of 2018. That's what they tell us. We'll find out if that's true or not. And let's go ahead and get started. So you can see here on our corner the model. It's this awesome yellow TIE fighter, and one thing I really like is that that insignia that they have like on that top panel. I think that's super sweet looking, and it has those cool cutouts. This ship was first debuted in Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon. It's the first time we saw it, and it is coming to the Scum and Villainy faction. So one of the things I like to talk about on ships when we first get them is the dial, and that's shown to us very clearly there. And we're actually going to do a dial comparison between the Mining Guild TIE and the Imperial TIE Fighter. So we'll start by looking at the Mining Guild TIE. It has almost all the same moves that that the Imperial TIE Fighter has. It has the 1 hards, 2 hards, 3 hards, 2 banks that are blue, 2 forwards, 3 forward, 4 forward, and the 3 banks that are white. The 5 forward is red, and it has a 3K. No 4K. You can see the comparison chart there. So almost exactly the same. The two differences being that it has a 5.4 that is red. I'm guessing those two missing panels on the TIE Fighter make it slower or more stressful to go that speed, and no 4K, so less flexibility. Let's take a second and talk about the dial, gentlemen. What are you guys' thoughts on not having that 4K and having the 5 forward be red?
I don't like that it only has the one K turn. It's really limiting, but maybe not for this chassis, as you aren't as impeded by rocks.
Yeah, I think so. Also, I think it's kind of a balancing off. I'm assuming just points wise because of the native ability that the TIE fighters don't have with the able to go through asteroids and debris. I think that having a little bit of a worse dial just is a little bit of accommodation to be able to get a swarm in or to get enough of them in. Because you can't have the exact same dial, a native ability, and keep them at that 23, 24 point level with the exact same dial. It just doesn't make sense.
That's a great point, because these have a bunch of really cool abilities, and that we're going to be getting to here in a second. So let's talk about the base chassis. Our very first one is the Mining Guild Sentry. But first I want to talk about just, the stats, the actions, the ship ability. Will, go ahead and break that down for us.
Okay. It has a 2 dice attack in its front arc, has 3 agility, and 3 hull. Has a focus action, an evade action, and a barrel roll, all white. It also has every one of these Mining Guild ties has the ability while you move, while you move, you ignore asteroids. Not all obstacles, no, not debris or any new ones that they may or may not be having, but specifically asteroids.
And that makes sense, right? That they're mining. You can't mine a debris cloud.
Yeah, you could.
No, I mean, you could scavenge a debris cloud, but
very true.
Mine it? I don't think so. Unless, no, I don't think you can. So let's go ahead and start breaking down some of the pilots. Our Initiative 1 is the Mining Guild Sentry. Initiative 2, Mining Guild Surveyor. And then we start getting into some of the unique pilots. Marcel, let's go ahead and get that ability, please.
Sure. Let me see what you have on. The Overseas. Before a friendly ship at range 1 would gain a disarm token. If that ship is not stressed, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, that ship gains 1 stress token instead. Really, that's going down to the reload ability, and I think if I'm not mistaken, there's only real 2 ships that are reloading right now, or that are self-disarming, which are the Skurg. No, actually, the Skurg doesn't do it anymore. It's the Dallin, whatever the Dallin is part of. Yeah, the Kimogila. And what else? Is there anything else that disarms itself?
There's no Scum Slam right now,
There's
right?
The only thing I can think of is Jump Masters, or anybody that could take a droid could take the R2 to get a shield and a weapons disabled token. So you could get a stress while you get a shield.
No, I guess at that point you get into.
I think that would take away your action, though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would take away your action, because you'd be stressed. Or no, maybe if you did a green move. But
yeah, because I'm just saying, just because the Y-wing has a reload, but it's a red reload, so you'd be already stressed. It's not going to work on a Y. It's not going to work on Cavill.
No. Well, maybe there'll be something that it does work for.
And maybe something else in this pack. Well, we're going to keep going through some of these pilots here. All right, Will, next one.
This is Captain Seavor, the Noisy Nuisance. Initiative 3. While you defend or perform an attack, before attack dice are rolled, if you are not in the enemy ship's bullseye, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, the enemy ship gains 1 jam. And it recurs 1 charge per round, so there's basically a once per round ability. But it's pretty good. I like how it works on offense and defense. And jamming would be really nice. Could be a potential juke candidate. You could jam off their focus before you shoot them with your juke.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I mean, the ability on its own actually sounds really powerful, but because it is on a 3 health ship, like, he's an annoying fly. If you want to kill him, you just turn, like, you know what? It's time for you to die. Because, I mean, having a ship constantly jamming every turn, jam and attack, and like you said, Will, I really like that idea of having juke on there.
I mean, it would be really great to just take away. Well, this is before attack dice are rolled, so you wouldn't be able to take away somebody's like lock and prevent them from shooting a torpedo because they would already have the requirement right before attack dice are rolled, which is unfortunate. But I think that mode might make it too strong.
Wait, it says while you defend. So it might, I mean, depends on what. How does that work? If somebody has you locked, and they say, "Okay, I'm going to shoot Captain Seavor."
So you select your weapon first. So you select your weapon. So I have a target lock.
Yeah.
All right. I can legally attack you. All right. So I use his ability to jam. I still get to roll those dice, but now I don't have the rerolls.
Okay. Now you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can still get shot by ordnance. You just don't have the same thing for barrage or whatever. You can still get shot by it. You just can't. You just get rid of their mods.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I think this is a candidate for. I mean, from the ones we've seen so far, this one seems the most powerful out of the one.
Yeah, if you could somehow get like a mass juke, which I think you can only do with Sikhs or these TIE fighters. But if you could like run a bunch of jukes with him, and then he shoots first and strips the focus before everybody else, there's potential there. I think he might be a candidate for just like a solo TIE fighter filler though too.
Wow, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. All right, next one is Av. Av. And it says, while you defend or perform an attack, if the enemy ship is a larger size than you, roll 1 additional attack die. So
I like this one.
This pilot basically is better against medium and large base ships. It's pretty simple. From the preview article, I believe this one is going to be coming equipped with an elite pilot talent because they talk about using it with trick shot. So I mean, it seems good, right?
Yeah, I mean, they because it's conditional, I would assume that the cost for rolling that additional die would be much less because you might not even get it in every match if you're not facing medium or large base ships.
Yep, yeah, it's super conditional.
Oh, this is while you defend as well?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep, it's both.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're rolling for native. Yeah.
And wait, let's talk about like right now, some popular ships. We have Redline out there, right?
Yep.
We have
you're rolling 4 against Redline.
We have Boba Fett out there.
Right.
So I mean, there's in the current meta, it seems like it's probably a good play, unless everybody all of a sudden starts running these and not those other ships. Then you're just sad because then it's worthless. Now this is what I think. Like most likely, like this pilot has a really cool ability, but I think most competitive players are not going to reach for it right away because it is so conditional. Because you can't. It's completely out of your control.
It comes down to point. to how many points it is. If it's 28 points and your choice is this or a quad, if the quads stay at 28 after any adjustments, there's no. I mean, it doesn't make sense to go with this over a quad. So it really is depending on the point cost. If it's 25 points and it's this or a Z95, yeah, why not go for this? It'll it's a little bit higher. It's got some conditional abilities. It's flying over rocks. It's doing other things.
Yep, that's a great point, Marcel. Yeah, depending on how the points fit within the rest of the faction, this could just be like that bonus ability that happens once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right, Will, go ahead. Give me the next one.
This is the Foreman Proach.
Mm-hmm.
The Slave Driver, Initiative 4. Before you engage, you may choose one enemy ship in your bullseye at range 1 to 2 and gain 1 disarm token. If you do, that ship gains 1 tractor token. So this is very conditional, and it will prevent you from taking a shot unless you happen to be next to the Overseer that we mentioned earlier about removing that disarm for a stress.
Yep.
And if this ability would then just read gain 1 stress token to give a ship in your bullseye at range 1 to 2 a tractor token, then all of a sudden it's got real potential. Because instant tractor token at Initiative 4 is pretty good. It is a little limiting because it's when it engages, though.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Swarm Tactics him up to a higher initiative.
That's cool.
So you could throw people onto a rock earlier. But as with all of the bullseye abilities, you're gonna have to line it up. You're gonna have to fly it well.
Yeah, and also it's really only working against small base ships. It's not like the quad jumper where you're gonna if you can get the bullseye in, you're getting double tractors and you can do medium base as well. So that bumping it up, you're not going to be tractoring anything onto anything. I mean, you're not going to be tractoring any medium or large base ships onto anything. That's really only happening if you've got a small base ship in front of you and your bullseye.
Yeah, but you got to think about that large base ship is going to have an easier time getting in your bullseye, and you still reduce their agility. So if, say, there's 4 other of these TIE fighters shooting after this foreman, without a reduced agility, you could really put out some offensive punch.
Yeah. What I like about it is that it's not an action. It's just, you're giving something up, but it's not an action. So, you could still get your defensive up because a lot of people are using the quad jumpers and putting the cloak tokens on and doing all that stuff to get, to keep them alive. This one has some defensive ability while it's still doing the whole tractor thing.
Now here's the question. Is losing 2 attack dice worth -1 agility? I guess it's dependent on how many ships you have shooting that enemy ship, right? That's when it's going to come down to.
See, that's what I was thinking. My thought process immediately went to blocking somebody. Because you're Initiative 4, you can catch 5s and 6s with a block. And if you block them face to face, they'll be right in your bullseye. So you wouldn't have had that shot anyways.
I like the blocking. Okay, that's cool.
I think it just, you almost have to pair it with the Overseer though, so that you don't lose out on that shot and it just becomes a stress.
Right. I wonder, so this is the highest initiative ship in this pack. So, I wonder if over time, because his ability, again, is another very conditional ability, if it's going to end up being one of those that go down over time until it's cheap enough where you go. Or maybe it, out of the gate, it's just cheap enough where you go, huh?
I don't... My overall assessment that none of these ships seem very expensive, even with their relatively good but conditional abilities.
Oh wait, somebody.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Hold on.
give you something for
Time
this
out.
one. For example,
Time out.
what?
Hold on 1 second. We said the blocking thing. It doesn't work because range 0 is not range 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
Quick-
even with that, like I'm looking at
quick
this
tips,
ship
number
and
1.
I'm saying like yeah, Q-tip. Even like this ship, like depending on how much it costs, one of the places that I can see it in something that I flew not too long ago was the robots. Pilot skill 4, pilot skill 4. This is pilot skill 4, and if it's cheap enough, I flew the robots with a quad jumper. If it's in that 28 to 30 point range, I mean, it could still find a place in something like that, or something with like where it's LEAT or L33T, whatever.
I don't know why why do you call it? It doesn't make any sense that you call it LEAT. Like it don't make any sense.
What do you mean doesn't make sense? L337 is LEAT talk for LEAT.
Yeah, it's gamer talk, Counter-Strike or whatever.
Yeah, if you do Counter-Strike, Warcraft, anything like that, LEAT, that's how you say elite, and that means elite. Elite.
Anyway,
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. You see, that's why we need Nate more on here. Nate would know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so with if you have this Dre, LEAT, this thing, and then a bunch of other generics, that kind of gives a little bit of synergy, and it's doing some stuff, I think. But
cool.
Yeah, it can't be expensive. If it's anything over like 30, 31, 32, it's just not going to see any table time.
That's my biggest question about these is most of them seem to be able, you could just run them by themselves. I'm wondering if the swarm is the best option for these, or just a single kind of flanker nuisance.
Just, I'm here. Hey. And with ships like that are able to come in the flank and be annoying enough where your opponent pays attention to them, sometimes what you can do is if you have a dual threat, you're like, hey, are you really going to attack this 25 to 30 point ship that I'm kind of dangling out here? Or are you going to go against my more scary things that are more survivable and my end game piece that you see on the other side? So yeah, it creates that dilemma. Could be cool. Any final thoughts on the Mining Guild tie?
I think it's going to be not dead on arrival, but it's going to be very limited in high tournament play. Even if you get it really cheap, the ability that it has really plays well with debris. But asteroids, if you land on an asteroid, you still have to move out of the way. It's like the old Dash, right? Or like Dash. You land on an asteroid, good, you can barrel roll out of the way, but you're still not going to be able to shoot.
I think you can. Because it says you ignore them.
So while moving.
While you move.
Oh, it's just while moving. Oh,
yeah, while moving. So it's a dash ability.
Sad.
So would count for barrel rolling off of an asteroid.
So you can barrel roll or take an action if you go through an asteroid, but really that ability makes a whole lot of sense if you're flying a lot of debris, and you can land on the debris, avoid the stress, avoid the no action, and still be able to shoot off of it. But the way it is, you have to completely clear the asteroid before you can, really take advantage of it.
And to bring up a couple good points that I saw in the chat here is, depending on where the point cost is, this Mining Guild time will have a lot of competition with the escape crafts and the quad jumpers. Like they're probably going to be occupying that same point space. And what was the other one? The other one that I thought was really good.
Yeah, the other thing that I saw in the chat right there as it's scrolling up was John Bean or Gene Bunyel or whatever he is. He knew exactly what LEAT is. So, I think you're on your own there, Dion.
Listen. I don't have time for video games. I'm working. Okay. Anyway, actually, yeah. But possibly using them in a Drea swarm could be cool. That was John who said that as well. Um, what do you think, Will? You've been flying Drea swarm a little bit. Do you think these guys have a place in there?
Um, right. I'll be honest with you. I feel bad for flying the Z's because I'm paying the extra point versus a Rebel Z to have the illicit slot, and uh, like to me, the Z is better with a missile, and I'm not bringing the missiles, so I feel bad for flying just a naked binary pirate.
Mm-hmm.
And if these are 23 or 24, and I could just swap the Z's out for it, I might actually take them. It'll be interesting. I do like the Z's 2 shields, though. Man, that goes a long ways.
Yeah, 2 shields. Even, I mean, you get an extra hull. I mean, an extra health in general, plus the ability to take, crit off the bat. Yeah, it's hard to give up.
All right, so that is the Mining Guild tie coming to a table near you in Wave 2, whenever that is. Now,
or maybe not.
Or
it's pointed high and you never see it.
Now, a couple of things I want to hit before we get into our next topic. There has been some speculation out there on the internet. There's this picture going on around, somebody saying, they're saying that Wave 2 is coming out this Friday. This Friday being Friday the 30th of November. This is in English, in England, in Great Britain. This guy said, "Oh, my store says this." That might be for that store, or maybe even that region. I will tell you that at least for Pastimes, our store, I contacted our store, and the manager did us the favor and called Alliance, which is the distributor for FFG, and said, "Hey, we're hearing that this might be coming out this Friday. Is this true? Is it in transit?" Alliance was like, "No, we don't have them, and we don't know what the release date is." So, at least most likely in the United States, it's not this Friday. So, sad face. But another thing is speculation that's going around is at the Polish System Open that happened over the weekend, they did have pre-releases for the Wave 2 conversion kits. So, maybe they'll be available at PAX Unplugged with Cascade Games. And maybe if they are, I mean, I'll be there. I will definitely buy a couple, crack them open. We do have the Polish, and we have some like translations that people did, but being able to see it in English will definitely help. Just because I know like sometimes the words the translations are not 100% accurate and stuff like that. Like it happens, but I'm super excited to see if those come out or not. Then the other thing. Oh, I remember the other thing I need to talk about. I forgot to make a slide for this, but Campaign Against Cancer is coming up very, very quickly. And one thing that they always do as awesome...
Didn't we just do that?
Just months ago.
Oh.
Months, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, the Campaign Against Cancer is wrapping up their preparation for the next wave of events. And one thing that they always do as awesome prizes is custom painted ships. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get donations for ships. Their goal is to get 150 ships that they can send out to awesome painters all around the world, literally the world, that will paint them up free of charge as a donation for the Campaigns Against Cancer event. And they send them back, and they distribute them between all of the different events, and they have these awesome ships. Marcel has won a few of them, and has them, and they look super sweet. And the hope is that they can get this number, this 150 ships, is the goal. How do you donate? How do you get that information? Maybe you're a painter and you want to do this. So the gentleman in charge of the ship donations and like the painting crew, his name is Luke Carrington. You can find him on Facebook. He also does the OCX pregame show, painting show, which is super awesome. And get in contact with him, and they'll arrange that. And I also want to say here that Gold Squadron Podcast, we are going to be helping get to that goal. We're going to be donating 10 ships to the campaign against cancer, and get that rolling. Help us out. Let's get some donations there. Whether they're new or used ships, they just need ships. They need ships to paint them up and make them look good. So let's go ahead and get that done. And Gold Squadron Podcast will be leading the charge, and we're going to be donating 10 ships. So it should be a lot of fun. Alrighty, let's get into our next topic. A new challenger approaches. Now, gentlemen, the goal here, what I've been doing today, over the last few days, is looking through List Fortress, the new place where people are putting lists, and I also had to do some cross-referencing with forums and Reddit and all this. And I was going through some major events that have happened over the last few weeks, and trying to find lists that did well, that performed well, got into the cut, top 16, top 8, that are not what I'm going to call typical meta lists that we've been seeing. We're not going to be talking about Boba Fett today. We're not going to be talking about Redline today. We're not going to be talking about Whisper today. Okay? We're going to be talking about people who brought things that are a little different or that have been looked down upon and have done well with them. The first event we're going to be talking about is the Nerf Herder with a Vengeance. That happened in Great Britain. There was 132 players. This happened on November 10th. And we're going to be looking at a couple of lists there. I'll start here. Person who came in third in Swiss, top 16 overall, Stuart Bluck, brought a triple X-Wing squad. He brought Luke Skywalker, Thane Kyrell, and Wedge Antilles. Really, really, just a thematic squad, right? Triple X-Wings. And I know there's a lot of people who've been poo-pooing Thane and Wedge. And one number that you're going to hear thrown around on the Minox and Crates this week, if you haven't listened to them already, is that Wedge, whether because people just want Wedge to be good or, it's just, the numbers don't lie. He is one of the best, I think, considered now the best Rebel performing ship in the faction. At least he has over the last few tournaments, or since the beginning of 2nd edition at least. So that's cool. And Thane Kyrell, we know Luke Skywalker is good. He's always been good. But Stuart brought Luke Skywalker with Heightened Perception. So Heightened Perception, I believe that is the PS7, right? Shooting at PS7?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? So, I mean, just making sure to get good shots off, proton torpedoes on Luke. I'm going to be publishing all these lists here in the comment section, so you guys can really take a look at them with all the upgrades. But just really cool to see a triple X-Wing squad there.
Mm-hmm.
Marcel, go ahead, take the next one.
All right, the next one is Kyle Katarn with multi-crow title, trick shot, and Jyn Erso, giving you evades instead of focuses, passing those off. Arvol, who is my favorite A-Wing, with intimidation. Lieutenant Blunt, who I think is highly overrated. I mean, highly underrated because of that ability. It's just amazing because right now a lot of numbers are good, and Lieutenant Blunt benefits from numbers. It's like a free benefit. Garvin Drace, trick shot. Now, which Garvin are we talking about?
Most likely the X-Wing to be able to fit into the list.
Okay. And AP5 because he is cheap and he is good, and stress don't matter because you are getting your action anyway. Mm-hmm. So, solid ships. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships, all of them solid. Getting benefits galore. Garvin passing stuff off. AP giving actions, Kyle passing stuff off, Arvel just being annoying. I mean, that's what Arvel does. It's just really annoying. I flew him with, I got a 3A wing and 2 Z95 list. And Arvel is just, I mean, you played against it once, I think, Dion.
Yeah.
My juke and Procket list. Arvel's pretty good. And I mean, I think, it's just good.
Yeah, there's an interesting interaction there because Blount gets his extra dice when there's a friendly at range 0 to 1, which is right where Arvel wants to be.
Yeah.
Hello. All up in there, right? Alrighty. Next squad. Will, go ahead and take the next 2.
All right, this is from Ross Pearson, and he's flying 3 Protectorate Starfighters. He's got Old Tirok with Fearless, Fen Rao with Fearless, and Cad Solus with Fearless as well. That's very surprising to me. I think you would have to play so aggressive with these ships. I mean, Cad Solus can get, when he Talon rolls for 4K, so he can get 2 focuses. Fen Rao, obviously getting the extra dice at range 1. And Old Tirok stripping tokens at range 1. I would feel like these ships are just going to all boost into range 1 of a ship and just take it off the board each round.
Yeah, you have to, right? Like that's what they're here to do. Like, go. It's super cool. So yeah, that's top 16
I think
list.
That's super cool. I still think you got to get extremely good matchups in order to make this work.
He got top 16, man.
I understand,
132.
But you can get. You can get even an 800-person thing. You can get good matchups. Matchups are matchups.
Let me ask you, Marcel. What is a good matchup for this list?
A good matchup for this list is really. Now you got me thinking. I don't like you. Right. Well, I can tell you a bad.
Tell me a bad matchup then.
I think how many points is it at?
That one.
Yeah, it probably has a small bid.
Depending on the bid, because if it's a small bid and you got a 6 and a 5, I think some of the imperialists that are also arc dodging might give it some trouble just because of their high bid and their ability to be anywhere on the board. Are you actually going to go through and put the whole thing in?
What? They don't know that, man. You ruined the mystery. I was gonna say I know how many points. You ruined it.
Okay. Wow.
It has a pretty hefty bid. It has a 13-point bid.
Okay, that is a strong bid.
But you're at 4, 5, and 6.
4 or 5. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's a solid list. You're gonna be flying. It's solid. It's definitely solid. There's nothing there that is. They're all in the high. Low 60s to, I think Fen Rao is 60 to close to 70.
Fen Rao is 71. So they're all about the other two are about 60 and Fen Rao 71. But not really though, because of that 13-point bid.
Wait,
it does make him quite a bit more expensive.
Let me take this next one.
No, I'm taking the next one.
No, I gotta take the next one.
No,
Dion. You know what Ron did to me. You know what Ron did to me. Let me take this next one.
Well, go ahead. You guys can talk about it since you guys both.
All right, we can talk about it.
Okay,
so the next one is Colm Brown, 10 in Swiss, top 16, and what is the 5 next one?
5 wins.
Okay, 5 wins, and he flew L337, also known as Leet, with Tobias Beckett, Dre with the dorsal turret, and 3 Cartel Executioners. Yeah. So Ron really destroyed me when I said the Cartel Executioners are underrated. They're better than B-Wings. And then we put them on the board for these against his 4 B-Wings, and he completely annihilated me. And I said, if somebody who is a better pilot than me flies it, these guys are amazing because of their bullseye ability. And here you go. Yeah, he made it work, and I still think their native ability, the big base to be able to block, and just the amount of health that they have. It takes a while to chew through them, and the fact that they're initiative 3 for a generic, it just gives them so much. They're just so well costed. They're worth every point. So good on you.
Yeah, I like that L3 Tobias Beckett support ship thrown in there. I mean, I obviously have a soft spot for Tobias Beckett, but you're actually going to really use that ability because you're trying to maneuver 3 medium bases around. You're going to need to make sure that that lane is opened up. They can squeeze all 3 of them in there. And actually, because L3 moves first and coordinates these cartels before they move, she could actually coordinate their red barrel roll.
Ooh.
And then they can clear the stress with a blue maneuver, or you could just give them a focus and then they could bump into another ship, potentially. So, and then, yeah, I mean, all you need is just a focus and be where Drea is at. To get double mods. It sounds really intimidating. Like, it's going to be, those cartels have 9 health. They're not going down easy.
And they do take care of aces. I mean, when you're saying you're not allowed to spend the green token on defense, they really do hurt those aces, So they're really good ace hunters.
Yeah, and you got 3 of them. 3 of those bullseyes being lined up out there, so they'll have to dodge all 3 bullseyes.
I think they're better. I mean, I think that bullseye ability is way better than a crack shot.
All right, let's continue. So that was the that nerf herder with a vengeance. Next event, it was on November 17th, the Czech Nationals event. There were 48 players at that, and one of the lists that popped out to me was in the top 8 here. It was Thomas Strassmeyer. Again, top 8, 5th in Swiss, and he was running Wedge, Naked Wedge with just the servo motors. It's free. Why not take it? Janors with Moldy Crow. And then 2 U-Wings. He brought Heftober with Tactical Officer and Pivot Wing, and Cassian Andor with the Pivot Wing. It was really cool. I just looked at it and said, hey, look, check that out. 2 U-Wings in the top 8 of a Nationals level event. I thought that was fantastic. Heftober is the U-Wing, I believe, the one that says when somebody bumps into you, you get to do an action, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Which you have the tactical officer, so now you got weird coordinate shenanigans that can happen. And then Cassian Andor, he's the one I'm not 100% sure of his ability.
You remove stress, which in this instance probably going to be that Janor stress, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't have to do green moves.
Good point.
Or blue moves. She could be doing the decent white moves that the Moldy Crow has. Or doing Heftober could just be sitting around.
Yeah, just stopping.
I mean, if he's getting blocks, have him keep sitting.
Yeah, why not, right? Yeah, so super cool. And again, that was Thomas Strassmeyer. Then we move over to the Dutch Nationals, but unfortunately, their list fortress entry was very sparse. There isn't a lot of stuff, and pretty much the only stuff I saw in there was your mega meta stuff. So nothing to pull from that one that we don't know yet. So yeah. We'll just keep moving on here. The Polish System Open, which happened over Thanksgiving break. We had a really cool list in here. Placed 7th, lost in the top 8. Go ahead and take that one, Will.
All right, we're gonna call him MP. So I'm gonna try that.
That is how you spell my name in Polish.
No, so it's Maciek Parazicek. Pretty close, something like that. That's not terrible.
The moment you put 2 Z's, or the moment you put a C in between 2 Z's, you lost me. Anyways, he's got Talonbane Cobra with Predator, Palab Gaudali with Moldy Crow, Quinn Jest with proton torpedoes and crackshot, L337, and Unkar Plut. And somehow fit 6 ships into the list. And remind me, Quinjest, I believe, still has the same ability of being able to reload the munitions without taking the reload action. So you got 4 dice attack there. Could be a 5 dice attack from Talonbane. Paylab stole your token. L33 coordinating probably the focus to Quinjest for a double modified proton torpedo. And you got Unkar Plut in there just causing a ruckus.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed when I was looking through lists, that some of the meta lists, I want to just talk about Unkar Plut here, are starting to replace the Jakku Gunrunner with Unkar Plut. There could be a couple different reasons, whether you're utilizing his ability of being able to give range 0 ships, tractors, as well as action them. Or maybe just trying to get the pilot skill, the initiative up on the quad jumper. What do you think, Will?
I think in this list, Unkar is the same initiative 2 as L3. And that's one of the problems I have running the gun runners, is that the gun runners always have to move first and then get coordinated. And with Unkar and L3, you get to choose their what do I say? You can choose the order. So L3 could coordinate the tractor to Unkar, and then Unkar could one bank reverse, or do a 2 sloop or something like that, or just run into the ship that he tractor beamed. And especially if you're, I don't know, I guess that didn't work because they're pretty low pilot skill. But yeah, I think it's for anything, it's matching that L337 pilot skill.
Yeah, and I think also just the native ability is good. I've tried Unkar a little bit, also Zubio, and their abilities are actually not that bad if you get the right list on them, and the ability to be able to know where you're moving and bump yourself and be able to reposition yourself at the very last second, or because when you're at pilot skill 0, one of the things that people don't realize is not pilot skill 0. I'm sorry. When you're touching each other, Unkar tractors himself now. It doesn't just tractor everything. So if you bump into someone, you can tractor them. You can tractor yourself to the left, tractor them, then tractor them. Stuttering. You could tractor beam. You can barrel roll yourself one way, boost them forward, and now you've got, who cares if you're, your agility 1. Now you've got a range 1 shot on them. And you get to choose, because of the way that it works now, you get to choose which direction both ships get tractored, including yourself, and in what order. So you can move yourself out of the way, put them through, and do all kinds of shenanigans. So Unkar, I think, is just highly underrated. And the fact that you can tractor beam yourself now, and I was playing a Vassal game, and I actually purposely ran myself over a rock to get a bump, and then I barrel rolled myself off the rock and barrel rolled them onto the rock, and they had a range 1 shot on them. Just Unkar has a lot of weird, nasty shenanigans for people who aren't ready for it.
That's cool. I like that. That's cool. So yeah, so we're probably going to be seeing a little bit more Unkar Plut here. We'll continue now into the Australian Nationals, and before we go into this, good friend of the show, Travis Foss, was the champion of that event. So I just want to say congratulations to Travis, and he was running. We have to say it. We mentioned he was running Whisper Redline Soontier. If you watched the Minot Open stream, this was the same list that Andrew Bunn ran. Travis and his brother Jaron talk about their whole event on the most recent episode of the Minot Squadron podcast. So go ahead, check them out over there, and you can get a full, just a bunch of information about how they did there. Now let's talk about some of these different lists. There was 129 players at that event, and we're going to be talking about 5 of the lists in the top 16 that I thought were just notable because they're just different than all the stuff that we're usually seeing. So one list that's similar to one that we've already said was Joaquin Reyes. He made top 16, and he's running a 4-ship Rebel, Janors with Trickshot Moldy Crow, Wedge with Trickshot and servo motors, Luke Skywalker with servo motors, and AP5. Just interesting here. No force upgrades on Luke. Just taking Luke and Wedge. Just dishing out the pain here. Just being X-Wings, probably getting coordinated by AP5. Luke being able to target lock, and you have your force for focus modifiers. And probably. What do you think?
Let me ask you. We've been seeing a lot of Janors recently, and other than that one Kyle,
she's on the rise.
We've been seeing all the Hawks because I think the Moldy Crow title's super good for them. But here's my question: Why is Janor's additional attack dice so much more valuable in the second edition? Like we never saw it too often in first edition. Is it just a better platform? Is that one dice really that valuable?
I think it's a 2 dice that valuable. I think the Hawks were that good. I mean, can you imagine the Hawks in 1? In version 1 with a 3-die primary plus a turret, or plus a secondary 2 dice rotating arc.
I mean, they could have TLTs before, so I would probably count that as about the same.
True, at 6 points.
I think offensively, the Hawks have always had really great, the Scum ones have their debuffs, and the Rebel ones have their support abilities. All their abilities are fantastic. They were still good in first edition, and all the way up until the end, you saw people trying to make them work. I think the biggest thing is that because the Hawks, a couple of things, they got better stats. Their abilities, which were good already, stayed exactly the same. And then on top of that, they got an extra, I guess not exactly the same, right? It's an in-arc, but I mean, it's not hard to do. And just like their point cost relative to where if you would have taken these stats and like apply first edition mathing to them, they're undercosted. Like if you look at it, are very cheap compared to what they would have been in first edition. The value is all over the place. I mean, it's so much value. It's all over. It's everywhere. Look at all that value. I mean, if you're looking for a support ship and you're not running a Hawk, I don't know what you're doing, because that's really good.
You're running late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean but that's a Scum. That's in Scum. I'm talking about
Hawks are Scum.
Right. Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at so the difference. Janors with just Moldy Crow is 54 second edition points. The Janors of first edition, buying a twin laser turret and the Moldy Crow title, is 34.
Yep.
So that's a double to 68. That's a 14 points swing.
Yeah.
Granted, you don't have the TLT, but 14 points. So yeah, they're definitely coming a little bit cheaper.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know. It just interests me. I think Moldy Crows are great. I mean, the double focuses is fantastic, and you don't need the K turn. You got 2 arcs.
You're fine. You're fine all day. So that was Joaquin Reyes. Go ahead, Marcel. Take the next one.
The next one is 4 Sigma Squadron Ace with Juke. And I was just going through yet another squad builder trying to find Sigma Squadron. What the heck are they?
They're are Phantoms.
Phantoms. Okay, now I know.
I knew that. About this I knew that weeks ago. I thought.
Yeah, we did talk about this a couple weeks ago.
You did not.
No, what what's there to say about it? I mean, they're getting free Jukes. They're getting free, so they're basically evade focused every turn for the most part, unless they get shot. Then one of them is not, but then he'll disengage and take an evade action. They're jumping all over the board. You never know where they're going to be, and they're putting on a ton of damage, and they're hard to kill. And that extra health that they got now, that extra hull that they got now, is really just it's really just good. I've been playing around with different juke lists, trying to get A-wings with juke, and trying to get different ships with juke, and just trying to build juke specific lists. And I think that actually. And I know we're talking about lists that have not made the rounds yet for a lot, but this specific list, the Sigma Squadron Ace Juke list, has actually made its rounds on Vassal quite a bit. It's won a number of Vassal tournaments, and it's been a popular Vassal list for some time. I know because I was talking, I've been playing on Vassal more than I've been playing on the table lately. Mm-hmm. And that's just something that people keep talking about, like the 4 Phantoms with juke, just killing it.
And I think
they're solid.
Something that contributes to that is the fact that they are also initiative 4. Like, so that means they're at least with 4 and below, they're able to get a shot off and be able to initiative kill things, or at least be able to compete with a majority of the initiative ships that are out there.
I will say I gotta Brack Daddy named this list perfectly. The Phantoms Menace.
That
it's perfect. That's exactly what this list better be called.
The Phantoms Menace. I like that.
All right. No, and I mean, and I just gonna quick side note, like what Kelvin Richard White is flying this week in the Aces League with 4 K-wings with barrage rockets, and then protons and seismic bombs. It's just little simple things like this that people aren't really putting a lot of thought. Not a lot of thought, but people aren't really just taking. They're trying to get a little too cute or trying to go with the meta. Those things are just solid. I mean, you're looking at those K-wings, 9 health. They've got 2 arcs going in 2 different directions, so you can have them left to right, and then barrage rockets out of the front and bombs out of the back. Now you essentially got a full.
That's a turret.
360 turret. You got a full 360 turret with 9 health and 4 of them. So that's you're talking 36 health with 360 turrets rolling around, bunch of kill boxes. So they're out there.
Yep. All right, let's continue through this Australian event. Go ahead, Will.
Next one we got is from Tim Kibblewhite. He's got Wedge with crackshot proton torpedoes, Luke with supernatural proton torpedoes, an R2 astromech, and a shield upgrade. And he's got AP5 with Jyn Erso.
He's got a shield upgrade on there?
On Luke, yes. And he has there's only one thing I hate about this list, and if you're gonna put an R2 astromech on Luke, why aren't you putting R2D2? Just saying. I know it's points or whatever. I'm just saying.
The bid go down.
Have you seen the movies? Okay. All right.
Gotta make it thematic. Where's my theme?
I guess it's still an R2. It's just an unnamed R2 astromech that. But yeah, pretty straightforward. It lets that Jyn Erso lets AP5 coordinate focus actions that turn into evade tokens. For Luke, also in the opening, AP5 lets Wedge focus and then come up for the target lock. So they're both shooting double modified proton torpedoes. And this Luke is pushing like 95 points or so. So he's going to be pretty good until endgame.
Hefty ship. And he has that supernatural, which, is really good in the endgame.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is what I took to the classic. Not this list, but that's the Luke I took. And it was pretty good. You got Well, this one's got 9 health. You got 9 health. You're worth like 90 something points. Super good.
Yeah, and also just on that R2 shield upgrade thing. I mean, just think about it. You're not, R2D2 is going to get you an extra charge, but that shield is just going to give you an extra shield without that charge, without disarming yourself. It's just a native extra shield.
And the next list, the next two are two top 4 lists. So the next one is Thomas Blyde. He brought Asigi Tuketu. That's a K-Wing with barrage rockets, perceptive co-pilot proton bombs, Wedge with swarm tactics, proton torpedoes, R3 astromech and S-foils, and Garvin Dreas with swarm tactics, proton torpedoes, R3 astromech, and S-foils. So basically, what you got is a swarm tactics cascade starting from Wedge. You swarm tactics Garvin, who then swarm tactics Asigi, and you are getting 2 proton torpedoes and barrage rockets, all at initiative 6. That is scary.
And all with target lock focus.
Correct. Because Asigi is, barrage rockets you use the charges to do the reroll if you need to. But perceptive co-pilot gives you the 2 focus tokens, which then you give to Wedge or Garvin as needed. Or you could even, with Asigi, you shoot first, so that if you need to, you could choose, all right, I'm going to shoot the barrage rockets first, not spend the focus, just maybe do some rerolls. I mean, you have a lot of options there, having them all shoot at initiative 6. But it's super, super awesome. And then you have, Garvin taking a focus and passing it off. I mean, everybody gets your double mods. Everybody. Mods for days. This is a really cool list. And I think this is one of the coolest uses of Asigi that I've seen competitively.
Yeah, I really like the combination with Garvin there, because basically Garvin spends the K-Wings focuses for free. There's no penalty. It just goes right back to the K-Wing.
Yep. I'll take that. You can have it back now.
Yeah, or give it to Wedge.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whoever needs it the most.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Now.
Oh no, yeah. Well, because Siege works on offense and defense now, doesn't it?
I'll believe you. That sounds right.
When a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 defends or performs an attack, it may spend your focus token as if that ship has them. So yeah. There's no reason to give it to Wedge. You just give it right back to a Siege.
Can I have this? Yes. I'll take it back. I'm done. Yeah, it's
pretty good.
Super awesome. Now, this next list, the last list that we're going to talk about, is probably the one that is being talked about the most out there, and I think we have to give our hot take on it because this is scary, ladies and gentlemen. This is a scary list. Actacon, who is a fan. Let me tell you, this guy, he's a fantastic guy. He actually came to Pastimes when he was visiting Chicago, played with us. Super awesome guy, very good player, very smart, and a gentleman. And he brought this monster. This demon has risen. So he took top 4. He took Rourke Garnett, which is a hawk, with squad leader, tactical officer, and Moldy Crow. And Dash Rendar with Trick Shot, Han Solo, Perceptive Co-Pilot, and the Outrider title. Now, the very basic idea of the combo that works here is you have Rourke's ability to allow a friendly ship to fire at initiative 7. You trigger that first. Dash is shooting his 4 or 5 or 6 dice shot at a ship at initiative 7. You then trigger Han Solo Gunner, and you get to fire at initiative 7 again, and you get to fire at the same ship. So now you are rolling your 4, 5, or 6 attack dice again.
How are you getting 6?
If you trick shot and Outrider title.
Really?
Yep. Unless maybe I'm remembering outright or incorrectly, which could be.
No, you're not, because you're rolling 3. You're rolling 4, and then you're rolling 5 with trick shot.
No, it says after you perform an attack that has obstructed,
I'm sorry, I
the
was thinking
defender
it
rolls
reduces
1 fewer.
1 fewer. My bad. So 4
Yeah,
or
so
5.
it's 4 and 5, but against lower agility ship. You're
There you
lowering
go.
the agility.
Sorry.
You're not getting the.
Well, it's really
Opposite.
It's really just taking out the obstruction.
Yeah. So it's
Well, it's giving an extra dice without their bonus die.
yeah.
Exactly.
My bad. Sorry, remembering
yeah.
that incorrectly. So 4 or 5 dice. So in most situations, if you've placed your debris correctly, you're taking 2 5 dice shots to the face versus dash. At initiative 7.
Initiative 7.
Yeah, so you're just dead.
And you got 2 focuses from Perceptive Copilot, and Rourke can white coordinate with that tactical officer, target lock.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess you're coordinating the double focus. Then Dash takes the target lock, if need be.
Yep. Like it's whew. That is scary.
I'm gonna put it on the table. Trust me. I'm not gonna tell my opponent about this and put it on the table and see what they think.
Now, here I will tell you my plan is tomorrow for League. I'm gonna bring this and play it for one of our League matches on stream to just kind of get it out there. Be like, hey, look, let's see what this thing can do. Yeah.
Here's my question. This list has a 7-point bid.
Yep.
And you could. I'm a huge sucker for rigged cargo shoots, and it just seems like it would work so well with Dash. How important is that 7 versus 3-point bid on Dash's initiative 5? Because it's only initiative 5 when he's moving.
Right, and most of these whispers and
red lines and stuff.
Red lines are at 5. You're not really competing for anything, right? Like what?
Well, you are, because those red lines and those whispers, I mean, some of them are in the 80s, but a lot of them are in the 90s as well. And also the Boba Fett's. You're looking at the Boba Fett's. So, but I get your point, because you benefit from having that debris, especially if you're coordinating a debris drop or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. An unexpected coordinated shoot on someone who didn't expect that.
But I don't think the bid, like, I don't think the bid matters, because at least not as much. I'm curious. I want to send Acta a message and talk to him a little bit about it. But I'm curious because most people who are flying Whisper and Redline and Boba Fett, they want to move last in order to have the reposition to try to get things in arc and try to arc dodge and all that. But because 7 points isn't enough, right? Because people are going down 13.
See, that's
13,
my thought on
14 points.
But is 3 not enough? I mean, it's just 4 points. I don't know what the average Boba bid though is.
There's Bobas. Some Bobas are out there in the 80s, and some of them are in the 90s.
Oh, but the bid.
Yeah. I'm saying in the 80s and 90s, like 180 something, 181, 182. So it depends on, like, if you're looking at some of the other lists that have the Paylav and Forlam, then you're not getting much of a bid. But some of the other bids with just for example, Guri and with just Guri and Boba alone, you're getting some pretty strong bids.
I mean, this is like the minimum amount of upgrades that makes this work every single round.
Yep.
So maybe that's just the thought process of take as big as bid as possible without ruining the combo. And that's where I landed at 7. Mm-hmm. I just, like I said, I want that rigged cargo shoot for fun.
Yeah,
I wonder if, like, maybe the reason you start with the 7, like, there's maybe two schools of thought here. You start with the 7-point bid because if somebody like us are like, oh, let's put more stuff on it because we want it to be good. Now I have a bid against other Dash players.
I don't think he was thinking of other Dash players.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying that's the reason for the bid. I'm saying that could be an avenue of thought going forward on why you keep the bid.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows?
I mean, rotating. If you can pass initiative, rotating Dash's arc or barrel rolling would be extremely beneficial. Like I said, I see the value of the 7-point bid. I just really want that cargo chute. I just love them.
I just want it. I want it now.
It's so good. It's super satisfying.
Yes.
And Dash ignores it anyway, so he doesn't care.
Yeah, so I mean that is probably the next big meta monster that's going to be rolling around here in the deep. Somebody found it.
I don't know if it's a mega meta monster, but
I mean,
I will say, out of all these lists that we've gone through, all of them take a plan. You like we were talking about the Phantom's Menace. You can't just put 4 Phantoms on the board and figure it out. You can't just put Dash on the board and figure it out. Like all these really take like planning and skill, which is why I think that they're like the dark horses currently. That no one's spending the time to practice them and get the reps in. Well, except for maybe that a Siege Wedge Garvin, which just rolls up and shoots torps at you.
Would you like a proton torpedo? You just send it to him. Yeah, so I mean, I really liked going through these when I was putting today's show notes together, because one of the things I just really like is that even though, yes, there are some lists that are consistently doing well, there is diversity there. They're showing factions, all factions bringing different tools, being able to tweak lists a little bit here and there in order to fit a play style or just try to do something a little bit different, and having success with it, which is, I just think, really cool. Any closing thoughts on that, Marcel?
No, I mean, I agree with you. We talked maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago about when the meta was first starting to shape itself, and Rebels were really lagging behind. The Imperials and the Scum. And back then I talked about, well, the Imperials and the Scum have nerfing abilities where the Rebels are just buffing themselves, and it's more beneficial to steal agency than give yourself a boost. And what's happening in this, and what you see here, at least in a lot of these lists, is people just figuring out how to boost yourself to a point where I still think I still think there's more benefit in disrupting the other person's plan versus boosting your own plan, because at that point you're messing with somebody else's. But what they're doing is they're giving themselves enough of a boost, enough of an advantage with Jan Ors, with this Dash, tactical officer, Carnet. They're figuring out ways to where the boost, and actually the CE one again, where everybody has, you're rolling ordnance and you're just erasing stuff. Yeah, just deleting things off the board. So people are coming up with ways that these buffs are strong enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
However, I'm still gonna go back and say debuffs are better than buffs in X-Wing. And if you give somebody, I actually go around the comic book forums. I don't know if you guys ever do. And in the comic book forums, they always do this superhero versus that superhero, right? Like they'll do Batman versus somebody that's in a different universe. Batman versus
Spider-Man,
Wolverine, whatever. But they always make the assumption, like, do they know that they're gonna fight ahead of time and they get to prepare, or do they not know and they just show up and like not know anything about each other and fight? And I still think that with full knowledge ahead, and their buffs, and full knowledge ahead, and I have debuffs, and there's enough planning ahead of time that the debuffs will be greater than the buffs. But what's happening is the Rebels and the buffs have been at the That man's parents versus one armed mugger. That is not right. All right. Anyway,
You broke me. You broke me. Oh, that's so sad.
but I still believe that the debuffs are better than the buffs. But what's happening is that the buffs are showing up without that, as a surprise. People don't know, like, whoa, you can do that. Like, whoa, you're gonna shoot that much, and everybody's gonna have a reroll, and everybody's gonna have a mod, and then after you do the mod, you're gonna have defensive mod on top of that. So I think that's what's turning out. And also, I think another one that we completely missed out of here. I don't know if we missed it because it's already been spoken about before, but it's that whole list that won a couple tournaments with bigs and selflessness and just everything spreading damage around and basically the whole Pressure Rebel list all over again. The 5 ships with bigs, a couple high PS, high health ships. Wait, that hasn't won anything? Because I saw them win
a game.
Something. No, I saw them win.
I mean, it might have been a smaller event. I was just going,
tournament, and I've seen them a lot where Biggs is pulling damage, where you have like either a B wing or Y wings or some other type of ship, U wing with selflessness, pulling crits and just 4 or 5 ships spreading damage around and not doing.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
I'm sure there's tons of lists out there. I just went through a couple of events. So
do your homework, Dion. Do your homework.
Do more. All right, guys. So thank you. That was great. I love going through that kind of stuff. And yeah, a couple of things here. Our YouTube spotlight. Two new YouTube videos have been posted in the last week or so. Our quick tips video, how to use the Force, dropped on Monday. Those are released every Monday. So yeah, how do you use the Force? Find out. Go click the button and go watch it, so you can learn how to do it. Because there is an interaction in there that a lot of people mess up. So go ahead, learn. Yep, go watch the video, learn. And the other one is, how do you get good? An interview with Dion, me, after my post-wisdom teeth surgery. Very entertaining if you're there for.
I got issues with that.
Oh no.
For a laugh.
Oh no, that clip is cringeworthy. Your tongue must have been raw, dude. Every time you're sliding your tongue against your teeth like that, it was just, I was cringing for your. I was like, why is he doing that?
I don't know. It's fine now. It's fine. I'm okay.
I'm just saying, I got issues with that, Dion.
Listen.
I thought you loved me. I thought you really loved me.
I do love you, but this was like
This is the truth from your heart.
Listen,
you do love me.
I do love you.
Right.
But this was, the question. Like, I watched the video, okay, and there's a spoiler. I don't want to give any spoilers if you haven't watched it yet. No, maybe. Whatever. I guess
I'll give this one. Watch it.
Yeah. So the last question, which was submitted by Will, was whether it was kiss, marry, fight. Of course, in the video, yeah, I thought PG. It was kill.
I was trying to go PG there,
right?
For our family,
family. But anyway, I said that I would marry Marcel for his money. But this is how I'm thinking. Like, I am currently married, so this is like, first time I married for love. If this is going to be a second time, I want to make sure I'm taken care of. And who can take care of me the best? Marcel. That's all. It's a compliment, my friend. Don't be offended.
I'm used.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, you know what? As long as the sex is good.
No, you can't say that on the show.
As long as the sex is good.
Stop saying that on the show. Muting you. I have to edit that out. All right. Anyway.
No, you don't.
It's
not a bad word.
Family friendly show. Anyway, Jesus. Lord Vader asks, "What have you done with those plans?" What have we done with those plans? Well, we have the System Open, the Philadelphia System Open coming up here this weekend. So make sure you watch live. We're going to be streaming Friday and Saturday all day, all the things. We're bringing you all the information and pictures and all the stuff. So go ahead, pay attention. Lots of giveaways coming your way, as always. And a note, I know that there's a couple of giveaways I haven't had an opportunity to ship yet from the Minoc Open. I got hit by Thanksgiving, and then I had to ship out templates and all this. So everything is coming. So look forward to that if you did win a prize. And after that, we have the Phoenix, Arizona System Open. We'll be there as well. And yeah, that's why I have that picture there. So the whole System Open series, United States, will be there. Gold Squadron podcast on the ground floor for you. You can watch all of our live X-Wing events and content at twitch.tv/Gold Squadron podcast. And don't forget to hit that Twitch Prime button every 30 days. It's literally free money. Our next broadcast is this weekend. We'll see you there. YouTube. You can also watch live on YouTube and watch all of our videos and all the things. Click the like button, subscribe. We're almost at 5,000 YouTube subscribers. Help us get there. Come on. Help us get there. What else we got going on? And then Patreon. Oh, what? Oh, I forgot to hit the button the second time. That's why. All right, Patreon. Thank you guys, everybody who's become a patron. You guys are absolutely amazing. You are the largest group of supporters and the driving force of how I'm able to travel from coast to coast and bring you guys this this content. I actually got a couple of the new pieces of equipment for this this broadcast that just streamline some things a little bit for me and make my life easier while streaming, which is always just trying to make things as efficient as possible. That way I can create the best product I can for you guys. And yeah, so thank you to all of you. You guys are amazing. Before we head out here, any shout outs, thoughts, thanks, stuff?
To anyone?
Yeah.
Well, not shout outs, but I'm looking forward to get back to like the league nights on Wednesdays. I know I haven't been out there lately.
I miss you.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm trying to get out there a little bit, and anyway, just hopefully get out there. Hopefully get out there with a +1. Actually, I met someone who's a big nerd, so maybe I can do like Nate and get a +1 out there to beat some people. And also, I'm looking forward to get the whole basement thing going.
Oh,
that was a secret. Okay, X-Nay on the Acement Bay. I didn't know that was a secret.
Marcel.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Keep going.
They probably think it's vodka talk. Okay, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're still talking about sex with Dion is good.
Stop saying that. Oh my God. We're ending the show. Will, do you have any comments?
I can't top that, so
okay.
No.
I have a lot of editing to do today. All right. My name's Dion Morales for Will and Marcel. Gold Squadron out.